There's a fairly common phrase today in use in society, both politically and even in sport, which succinctly puts it simply and says, whatever it takes. Not a necessarily pleasant phrase at the highest and with the highest regard in society. And yet it does have some meaning for our founder, because he was quite determined as a bishop and as a missionary to do whatever it takes for those most in need. Although Eugene and his followers, the missionaries, had very clear aims and goals for their endeavours, which they frequently enunciated in terms of the poor, youth, prisoners, and the most abandoned, nonetheless they went outside the scope of the noble plans where necessary. Nor did they state their aims blindly, saying they would do whatever it took. They really wanted to find the greatest needs in society where they were working and serving the poor. Wherever they went, the Oblates, the wisdom and courage to read the signs of the times was a vital part of their lives. They had to work out when they got there what was most needed. Did it fit their category? Did it fit their ideas? But nonetheless, the great idea was whatever it takes for the spread of the gospel and the love of God. They went to such strange places, Canada, from the ice and the snow, the Eskimos and the Indians of the area. The harshest of places in Canada and even in places like Texas, where they rode day after day and week after week on their horses. They were known as the Cavalry of Christ as they visited outlying farms and ranches. For them, it was ceaseless travel in the interest of spreading the gospel. Australia, like many of the provinces in the world today, has missions, and parishes, and chaplaincies and schools. We began with the parish. We ended up with schools and parishes and lots of other things, university chaplaincies, hospital chaplaincies, prison chaplaincies. They were the needs of the time. And the great challenge for any missionary and for our founder was to read the signs of the times, to see what was needed here and now, not 10 years ago and not 20 years from now, but what are the needs we have to serve today. We began our schools as a huge act of faith, and it picked up as best they possibly can all those in the area. We began in Victoria, in Melbourne, with a migrant population sitting in our school desks. It spread from that to further and further afield. We still have a great migrant population. It began as Italians, it morphed into Vietnamese, now it's people like the Indians and Sri Lankans, lovely people, great citizens of Australia and under our care. And so we've called to mind the great phrase often used nowadays, whatever it takes. We do the best we can to live the mission in the spirit of St. Eugene, to be able to say, if you're in need and we are there, we're there to serve you. That was his challenge for the poor, the neglected, the most abandoned, and the youth.